Hello students, welcome to yet another interesting class in history. In today's lesson, you will learn about the early European contacts with Nigeria. And under that, we shall discuss the general nature of the early European contacts with Nigeria and also the reasons why Europeans decided to come to Nigeria. The first European travelers to reach Benin were the Portuguese explorers in about 1472. Now, when they got to Benin, a strong mercantile relationship developed with the Edo people, who traded tropical products such as ivory, pepper, and palm oil with the Portuguese for European goods such as manila and guns. In the early 16th century, the Oba of Benin sent an ambassador to Lisbon, and the King of Portugal sent Christian missionaries to Benin City. Some residents of Benin City could speak the Portuguese pidgin language as early as the late 19th century. The first English expedition to reach Benin was in 1553, and significant trading developed between England and Benin based on the export of ivory, palm oil, and pepper. Visitors in the 16th and 17th centuries brought back to Europe tales of the Great Benin. They described it as the fabulous city of noble buildings ruled over by a powerful king. But however, the Oba of Benin began to suspect Britain of larger colony designs and ceased communications with the British until the British expedition in 1896 to 1897, which resulted in a weakened Benin Empire. Now let's discuss the nature of early European contacts with Nigeria. Now, when the Portuguese first landed in Nigeria, they immediately realized that they were in a land that was surprisingly similar to their own. The land was highly industrialized with systems in place for agriculture, arts, and other indigenous civilizations in place. The country was ruled by four major kingdoms, which were the Hausa and the Borno kingdoms dominated the northern part of Nigeria, and the Oyo and Benin dynasties were grounded in the south. The Portuguese promptly established trade with the Nigerian people, mostly with the Benin people. They traded spices, spirits, and many other items, including people, which is later called the slave trade. Now, before the Europeans set foot on the African continent, slave trade was alive and prospering, and the Portuguese quickly became aware of this. It is believed that during their first contacts, they began trading in slaves with chiefs of Benin Kingdom. Now, it is estimated that as many as 3.5 million Africans were traded to Europe and eventually the Americas. The Portuguese, in their early trading relationship with the kingdoms, would trade by offering them clothes, copper, and brass. A few decades later, they eventually added cowrie shells to the trading economy as well. Portuguese influence eventually spread far and wide in the coming decades. Now, part of this was due to the European desire to find African gold for their valuable coinage back and their desire to find a trading route to Asia. Now, let's talk about the reasons why the Europeans came to Nigeria. We have various reasons why the Europeans came to Nigeria, but firstly, we shall be talking about evangelism. Europeans visited Nigeria for so many reasons, like explained earlier, and evangelism was one of such reasons. Many Africans believed in traditional African religion where they worshipped their gods and poured libations to their lesser gods. The European missionaries knew of this, and in accordance with the principle of the Bible, which encourages Christians to go out and win souls for Christ, the European missionaries decided to do just that. They came to Africa in order to spread Christianity to the African people, who embraced the religion with great eagerness. Another reason why they came to Africa or to Nigeria was for trade. The Europeans came to Africa because they wanted to engage in trade with the people of Africa. The Europeans knew of how rich the African continent was in terms of natural resources, and therefore decided to start trading with the people of the continent. They would buy things like salt, gold, and cocoa and sell to the people of Africa things such as guns, gunpowder, and clothing. Right, another reason why the Europeans decided to visit Nigeria was to spread Western education. Now, they came to the continent to spread Western or formal education. Now, in doing so, they were able to teach the people of Africa how to read and write. They also established several schools and colleges in the African continent, and such developed the various languages that were spoken by the people of Africa by putting these languages into writing. A fourth reason why Europeans decided to visit West Africa and Nigeria was the zeal to discover more. This is one of the major reasons why Europeans came to Africa, and because they wanted to discover other parts of the world. Europeans knew that there were other places in the world beside Europe. Now, armed with this knowledge and the burning desire to see these places, they began sailing the unknown, and eventually they found their way to Africa. Now, with this, we have come to the end of today's lesson. I hope you've learned a lot. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye and stay safe. I will see you in our next class.